It was an unusually quiet morning when I noticed something was off with Max, my loyal golden retriever. He wasn't his usual energetic self, bounding through the house with his boundless enthusiasm. Instead, he lay on his bed, his eyes dull and his tail barely wagging. I called him to come outside with me, but he just looked up with a sad expression, a stark contrast to his usual eagerness. Concern gnawed at me as I approached him, gently patting his head. He let out a soft whimper, and that was all the confirmation I needed that something was seriously wrong. Max had always been a robust and healthy dog, rarely showing signs of illness or discomfort. This sudden change in behavior was alarming. I decided to monitor him closely for the next hour or so, hoping it was just a temporary issue. I made him a bowl of his favorite chicken and rice, but he barely touched it. His lack of appetite was the final straw. I knew I had to take him to the veterinarian as soon as possible. I quickly called the veterinary clinic and explained the situation. They advised me to bring Max in immediately. I gently coaxed him into the car, his usual excitement for car rides replaced by lethargy. The drive to the vet seemed longer than usual, my mind racing with worries about what could be wrong. At the clinic, we were greeted by the kind receptionist who led us to an examination room. Dr. Matthews, our trusted veterinarian, entered shortly after, her expression a mix of concern and reassurance. She had known Max since he was a puppy and was well aware of his usual vibrant health. After a thorough examination, Dr. Matthews delivered the news. Max had a high fever and seemed to be in pain, but the cause wasn't immediately clear. She recommended a series of tests to determine the root of the problem. Blood tests, X-rays, and an ultrasound were all on the agenda. My heart sank at the thought of Max having to endure all this, but I knew it was necessary to get to the bottom of his illness. The tests took several hours, each minute feeling like an eternity. I sat in the waiting room, my mind filled with worst-case scenarios. The waiting room was filled with other pet owners, each lost in their own world of worry. I exchanged sympathetic glances with a few, understanding the silent bond of concern we all shared for our furry friends. Finally, Dr. Matthews called me back into the examination room. She had a serious look on her face, but there was also a glimmer of hope. "We've found the cause of Max's illness," she said. "He has a severe infection, likely from something he ingested. We need to start treatment immediately, but I believe he has a good chance of recovery." Relief washed over me at her words. It wasn't the worst-case scenario I had feared, and Max could be treated. Dr. Matthews explained the treatment plan, which included antibiotics, pain relief, and a special diet to help him regain his strength. She also recommended keeping him at the clinic for a few days so they could monitor his progress closely. Leaving Max at the clinic was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. His sad eyes followed me as I walked away, my heart breaking at the sight. But I knew he was in the best possible hands, and that gave me some comfort. The next few days were a blur of phone calls and visits to the clinic. Dr. Matthews kept me updated on Max's progress, and I visited him every day, bringing his favorite toys and blankets to make him feel more at home. Each day, he seemed a little stronger, a little more like his old self. The antibiotics were working, and his fever had started to come down. On the 5th day, Dr. Matthews called with the news I'd been waiting for. Max was well enough to come home. I rushed to the clinic, my heart racing with excitement. When I saw him, he was standing on his own, his tail wagging weakly but enthusiastically. It was the best sight I could have imagined. Bringing Max home was a joyous occasion. I set up a comfortable spot for him in the living room, surrounded by his favorite things. The next few weeks were all about helping him recover fully. I followed Dr. Matthews' instructions to the letter, giving him his medication on schedule and sticking to the special diet she had prescribed. Max's recovery was slow but steady. Each day, he regained a bit more of his strength and energy. We took short, gentle walks around the neighborhood, gradually increasing the distance as he grew stronger. His appetite returned, and he started eating with gusto again. The sparkle in his eyes and the wag in his tail were back, filling me with immense relief and happiness. Throughout his recovery, I couldn't help but reflect on how much Max meant to me. He wasn't just a pet. He was a loyal companion, a source of unconditional love and joy. The thought of losing him had been unbearable, and I realized how deeply he had woven himself into the fabric of my life. One afternoon, as we sat together in the backyard, I watched him bask in the sunlight, his eyes closed in contentment. I felt a profound sense of gratitude for the bond we shared and the second chance at life he had been given. Max had always been there for me, offering comfort and companionship in my times of need. It was my turn to be there for him, to ensure he had the best care and love possible. As the weeks turned into months, Max made a full recovery. His energy returned, and he was soon back to his old antics, chasing squirrels and playing fetch with boundless enthusiasm. It was as if the illness had never happened, but I knew I would never forget the experience. The ordeal brought me closer to Max, deepening the bond we shared. I became more attuned to his needs and more vigilant about his health. Regular checkups with Dr. Matthews became a priority, and I took extra precautions to ensure he stayed safe and healthy. Max's illness also taught me a valuable lesson about the fragility of life and the importance of cherishing every moment. I made a conscious effort to spend more quality time with him, going on longer walks, playing more games, and simply enjoying his presence. The simple joys of watching him run through the park or curl up beside me on the couch became even more precious. In the years that followed, Max and I continued to share countless adventures and quiet moments of companionship. He remained a constant source of joy and comfort, his unwavering loyalty and love a testament to the bond we had nurtured through thick and thin. Looking back, I realized that Max's illness, though a terrifying experience, had ultimately strengthened our relationship. It reminded me of the resilience of the spirit and the power of love and care. Max's recovery was a triumph of hope and determination, a reminder that even in the face of adversity, there is always a path forward. As Max grew older, the signs of age began to show. His muzzle turned gray, and his movements became slower. But his spirit remained as vibrant as ever. I cherished every moment with him, knowing that our time together was finite. I made sure he was comfortable and happy, showering him with the love and attention he deserved. When the time finally came to say goodbye, it was one of the hardest moments of my life. Max had been my constant companion for so many years, and letting him go was heart-wrenching, but I took solace in knowing that I had given him the best life possible, filled with love, care, and countless happy memories. In the end, Max's story was one of resilience, love, and the unbreakable bond between a dog and his owner. His illness had tested us both, but it had also brought us closer together, teaching me the true meaning of unconditional love and the importance of cherishing every moment with those we hold dear. Max's memory lived on in my heart, a reminder of the incredible journey we had shared. He had taught me so much about life, love, and the power of hope. And though he was no longer by my side, his spirit remained, a guiding light that continued to inspire and comfort me. Max's story was a testament to the enduring bond between humans and their pets, a bond that transcends time and space. It was a story of love, resilience, and the incredible capacity for healing and hope. And as I looked back on the years we had shared, I knew that Max would always hold a special place in my heart, a beloved companion whose legacy would live on forever.